The opening fight of the main card here was one that a lot of people were looking forward to in the ladies division at flyweight, and it featured Maycee Barber taking on JJ Aldrich. And Barber getting a lot of attention. She was on, the cover of CNN's website, as a UFC fighter of the future, and kind of links, in a couple of days before the big fight kind of thing. She was getting the media hype rolling behind her. Do you think she backed it up? How'd she look?
Well, I think the key thing to remember here is that she is 20 years old. I mean, she's so young. And I do think that this is the second biggest story of the night other than Pettis' knockout is Maycee Barber, because I do think we're looking at somebody who's going to be around for a long time. And I really enjoyed her post-fight interview where she was talking about what her corner said that she was doing wrong, that she knows she's got to improve on moving forward. And that's that she was throwing kicks without punches in front of them. And JJ Aldrich was making her pay the price. At the beginning, she was landing some shots, even kind of rattled Maycee at the beginning. Maycee did seem to make the adjustments. Yeah, dropped her and was kind of popping her with those shots. Maycee ate them well. She didn't lose her composure, and she is so physical once it hits the fist. That girl throws elbows in the clinch about as good as anybody in the sport already. I mean, she just tears people up in the clinch with those elbows. They just immediately back off now. They know to expect that. So it's just like kind of when Anderson Silva was just eating people up. Rich Franklin, in particular, from the tie clinch, people stopped playing the clinch game with Anderson Silva. And I think that's what's going to end up happening with Maycee Barber. People aren't going to want to clinch up with her too much because she's so good at untying the clinch and turning over elbows onto people. But JJ Aldrich is playing more of a boxing-heavy style, and we did see some flaws with Maycee Barber, but she does have her chin up. She kind of has like a herky-jerky, reminds me kind of old Keith Jardine style with kind of her hands wide and chin straight up in the air, getting popped. But it actually turned out to be what led to the finish, because she ended up reading that jab that she kept getting hit with and countered with a left hand, because JJ was kind of throwing them a little too lazy and not snapping them back quick enough. And the power that 20-year-old, for a 20-year-old, 125-pound girl, she's a freaking powerhouse. And she cracked JJ, and then the finish was beautiful. I mean, she just overwhelmed her with power, and that's what I keep seeing out of her, is this physicality and brutal power, a diverse set of techniques. I think it needs polished, but she's 20 years old, so I hope they take her slow. But where she could be in just 2 or 3 years, she wants to break John Jones' record as the youngest champion. You sent me a text message, and I agree with you that I don't think Shevchenko's worried yet. But Shevchenko's in her prime of her career. Maycee Barber, I can only imagine what she's going to be when she's 30.
Yeah, I think that there was a lot of good things to take note, and especially in the first round where she did face adversity. Let's face it, she came out and she looked sloppy. She didn't look like a UFC fighter, because she has, like you said, that herky-jerky style. And, if you're Roy Jones Jr., that sort of thing worked for you, but when you get hit and you get dropped on your ass in one of the opening exchanges, it all starts to come out the window. She handled that great, because she got up, and when she went back to, she survived or got through the round. When she went back to her corner, she asked, as you pointed out, great corner work. She was totally in the fight. She said, I need to be more active. And then her corner kind of pinpointed exactly what it was she needed to do, and she was listening. She was coherent. She wanted, and she came out and executed her game plan. They knew what they wanted to do, and those are called making adjustments. That's the type of thing that you get to make in a fight. Aldrich came out with the same game plan that she did in game one, in round one rather, and that wasn't going to work for her anymore. That shows sophistication, and as you said, when you tie it back down to a 20-year-old fighter and that sort of stuff, you got to keep an eye on it. I still, like I said, Shevchenko, there's a level there at 125, and Maycee Barber, showed a lot of good things in the fight too. So I wanted to, but let's put up a caution, because, Conor McGregor put in some work in the UFC, and Ronda Rousey had a different path that was all her own and stuff. But, she's going to have to go the Conor route, I think. She's going to, at some point, have to meet some of the tougher people in that division and walk into some fights as an underdog and pull them out.
Yeah, I think I got an idea. I don't know if it should be next. I would welcome it if it was next, but I think I know the perfect fight at this division for her right now, and that's against Paige Van Zandt. That's a perfect fight, dude. That's a great fight. Paige Van Zandt is not a threatening chick. She's good everywhere. She's not great anywhere. She can grapple. She can strike a little bit. She's a beautiful face. Everybody knows who she is. Maycee Barber, somebody they're definitely trying to groom and promote. Paige Van Zandt was a journeyman at 115 pounds, has moved up to flyweight, and she's getting older, she's getting bigger, she's getting better. I think that that's a great fight right now, and I want to see. I don't know if that should happen exactly next, but that's the fight that I would go with because it will give some name value for Maycee Barber to compete against. Because let's face it, right now, when what we've seen with Paige Van Zandt and what we're seeing with a 20-year-old Maycee Barber, I think we're going to see. I think Maycee Barber legitimately could be a world champion. I don't feel that way about Paige Van Zandt. Nothing against her. I think she's beautiful. I think she's an interesting woman. I have nothing wrong with her as a person. I don't think she's going to be a world champion in the UFC. I don't think she'll ever be somebody that's going to be a legitimate contender against Valentina Shevchenko. Maycee Barber, on the other hand, in 2, 3, 5 years, definitely could be a legitimate world-class fighter. But I think that's an interesting fight for her. But I think she does definitely need to take. I think they're going to do that. I think they're not going to rush her too fast. The thing is, this division's wide open. They got Jessica Ai fighting Shevchenko next. Jessica Ai went on a 4-fight losing streak at bantamweight at one point. I'm still not sure if she doesn't have a losing record in the UFC. She's 500. This is definitely a wide open division that they're going to start grooming faces and talent for. She would get completely destroyed by Shevchenko right now, but who isn't at this division? So I hope that they have that they don't try to rush. Oh, well, let's just get her 3 or 4 good wins together and then just throw her in there with Shevchenko. Because what's going to end up happening is it's just going to be one of those, oh, well, that was like Ngannou versus Stipe when they fought. Like, oh, well, she wasn't ready for that. But the thing that keeps me so hyped with this girl is this is her 7th career professional fight at 20 years old. And she's main carding a UFC fight night, and she's backing them up. She's backing them up with 2nd-round finishes in her first 2 UFC fights. So, I think she's well spoken, and I'm excited to see where her career goes. She's still who I'm the most excited out of all the women to see compete because I think we're going to see something blossom here with Maycee Barber.